What is up, Solar Crown Racers? It is I, your wheelman, Alex Cornnut. We're here today with the very best car out of the 3 starter cars. What is your daily driver? If you're starting this game for the first time and you want to race the very best, which one are you going to choose? I have that for you here today. I've bought all 3. I've raced them in their stock configuration, and I've also raced them with tier 1 upgrades on a couple different tracks, so that way we can get a baseline for which one is faster, which one is going to have the best characteristics for you, and then after you get to level 10 and you get those first upgrades, what the cars are going to look like after that. So that way, maybe if one presents itself as being better after you upgrade it, we would know that. So I've got all that data for you, and it really surprised me. So stay tuned. Let me show you everything we've got here. The 3 starter cars that you get to open with if you've not played the game, or if you're about to boot it up for the first time, you can get the Nissan 370Z, you can get the Mustang GT, and you can also get the Alpine, the Legion, it's the A110. So I bought the Alpine first when I started the game, and then I recently just purchased the Mustang and the 370Z. The way I did the testing was the same track. I did it multiple times in my Alpine because I already owned it, and then I did the Mustang, then I did the 370Z. I did each timed event for each car 3 times, and then I took the best time from each or the average of them all. If there was something crazy that gave me a really crazy time, like a weird bounce or something, I would take that out. But let me show you what ended up happening. The track that we did was technique over speed, and that is going to be my Mustang finishing time. I did a 3:37.68, and like I said, I ran it 3 times, so then I did it again, and then I ran a 3:37.50. So I was omega super close. I mean, we're talking within a second of each other when I ran the Mustang on that track. So I was like, okay, I'm super consistent, we're good, let's run the next cars. I ran the Alpine. This is my second run, and I did a 3:37.39. I did end up doing a 3:36, but I wanted to show you guys how close these are, and this is my second run. So a 3:37.39 is within 1/10 of a second from the Mustang over the course of over 3.5 minutes. So the consistency is key, but we're not done here. I also did that exact same time with the 370Z. I did a 3:37.34. So all 3 cars, I got a 3:37, and I came within 0.2 of a second between all 3 of them. It was really special. I've got it all on video. There's no reason for me to bore you with showing you all the runs, because there was little mistakes here and there. They weren't all like these perfect world record-setting runs, because I was running the cars in their stock configuration. I had ABS on 100, and traction control was set to 75. That was it. Running them stock with manual, having fun, and that was my results. So out of the gate, I need to correct a statement I made early on in my last video. I was like, the morons that are the developers. Huge shout out to them, you guys. The 3 starter cars that you get are super close. Like, super close. They did a great job of giving us a very balanced lineup. So out of the gate, stock configuration, these guys are like touchy. So let's tune them up. That's what I did. I then take each car and I tune them up in each class. Let me show you the results for that now. Some will say it's foul play, so I will, at the end of this video, kind of after I do my outro, do not a bloopers reel, but it's going to be the last 10 seconds of each race that I'm going to show you these screenshots of, because it's insane. The consistency for me as a driver or pure luck is kind of wild, because I really only did maybe 3 or 4 runs. If I had a catastrophic failure, throw it out, restart. But like, for the most part, as long as it wasn't crazy, I would keep on pace. And look at the results that we got for after we had tuned up the cars with the green parts. So keep in mind, before with our 370Z, we had done a 3:37. That was on par with everything. 3:37 was the number. Now, with upgraded parts, the new number is 3:30.70. That's what I did in the 370Z. That was my first run out. After I put the parts on it, I was like, okay, cool. Because I started with it this time. Because last time I finished with it, I figured I had the most experience in it back to back. It'd be a good representation. But then I did it again. And then I got a 3:30.99. So back to back, 2 races in a row, 330, 330. So it's 7 seconds faster, and I can prove it. Pretty consistent. There are mistakes in there, but that gives you, like, we're there, you guys. It's a very, very good thing. So then I was like, okay, let me grab the Mustang. Let me see how much faster that is. I did a 329.39, my first outing in the Mustang. I was like, okay, so it is within 1 second of the 370Z. Very close, like maybe 1 second faster. It's a little bit faster on the big end. Straightaways, it does very well. And then I raced again. 330.39. So I did a 329.39 and a 330.39. It looks too convenient. That's why I'm going to show you at the end all the finishes here, because it's kind of insane. Crazy. So the 370Z, Mustang, same. Alpine. First time out, I did one and done with it, because my very first time with it, I did a 330.04. And I was like, they're all the same. They all compete at the very same level in my hands. You are going to get maybe different results, because I do have feedback on which ones do things differently. But there's one more little thing I need to touch on for you guys. And that is this car right here. This is the Audi TTRS Coupe. It is not one of the starting cars, but it is one of the daily drivers. And it is very fast and very good. So, out of the daily drivers, they're all the same. I do have another track I test them on, so we can take a look at that, and we've got some data, but out of the gate, they're pretty baseline. The Audi performs at a little bit different level. This is what it did without modifications on technique over speed. We did a 322.35. Guys, with modifications, all the starter cars were doing 330s. So stock, this car is 8 seconds faster than the starter cars after they have upgrades. So I was like, wow, that's crazy. So basically, instead of buying upgrades for your starter car, save that money. If you go buy the TTS Audi, you will have yourself a faster car overall, and you're getting into something that's very good. So I was like, well, what if I put mods in the Audi? I did a 3:19.19. I bettered myself by 3 seconds. You get a little more power. The reason that our gap from stock to my final time here with it is not as great as the other cars. Like the other cars gained 7 seconds, we gained about 3. And the difference is the Audi stock is a lot closer to the peak of 550 as opposed to the other cars. The other cars were like 435, 440 when they're entry level, whereas the Audi is much higher. It's closer to like almost 500. So there's less points that we can throw into it, and thus on an even playing field, when they're all baseline, the Audi's every bit of 11 seconds faster. And just to show you that a 3:19.19 is not a slouch of a time, that is actually 8th in the world right now at the time of recording this video. And that is a very popular track. A lot of people have done that track. And so me being able to get 8th with the Audi does show that it is a very capable car. It also shows my abilities as a driver, to thus prove that the other times that I got in the other cars are real. Like, they're legitimate. It's what you can expect to get out of these vehicles. Starter cars, all well and good. But when it comes to not, if you're going to buy something, don't buy parts for your starter cars. Go buy parts for the Audi TTRS Coupe, and you will have an overall better performing vehicle. But that is, you know, kind of just an opinion piece there. I did also run times on 3 other tracks, so let me show you those results really fast, and then I'll let you go. The other track I ran is the Tourist Trail. Best time I got was a 3:21 in the Mustang. This track lends itself a lot to the Mustang, as there are a lot of straightaways, and so the Mustang is very good straight line speed on the big end. I did not have a good screen grab of the final screen with the 370Z, so what you're going to see here is something that looks like that. 370Z, I did get a 324.74, so it's about 3 seconds slower. And I'll share my opinions on why I think that is here in a moment. And then with the Alpine, I did a 323.55. So it is very similar in performance to the 370Z. I'd say those are dead nuts even. Mustang's a little bit better in the straight line. But the question I'm sure you are all asking, what the Audi do? The Audi with tier 1 upgrades, which is what I have on it for this race, like all the cars tested here on the Tourist Trail, I did a 31264 my first try, one and done. Booted up the car with the assists on and everything and went for it. With the Audi, it's just way faster. And so a 31264 is very good. Obviously that's 12 seconds faster than like the Alpine and the 370Z, and it's about 10 seconds faster than the Mustang, so it is very good. That 31264 is currently 7th in the world as the time of filming right now, and so once again that is a very popular track. That speaks to not necessarily the ability of myself, but my ability to take a car and test it consistently, to get very similar times, repeatable, and then be able to really tell what is fast. So in this case, you guys, here's what I'm going to say about all the different cars. This is my review. This is what I would leave you guys with. You're going to make a decision. The Alpine is kind of the super handling one of the bunch. It's the most twitchy. It has the ability to turn in the best, and it feels very snappy. The gears, there's a lot of shifting involved. And so if you want to play manual transmission or something like that, this is going to feel very engaging. It is probably the best handling of them, a little slower on the big end. We get into the Mustang. The Mustang is very agile. Don't get me wrong. It's not a slouch. It's not a big heavy muscle car. It turns very good, especially on throttle. I'd say that its probably biggest strengths are it's got very long gears and enough power to prove it. And so there's not a lot of shifting, so you're kind of always in the right gear for the corners. And it is a little bit faster on the straightaways. So when you're getting into that 110, 120 mile an hour range, it really starts to pick up, and that's when it pulls away from the other two cars. And so I think it's a very balanced pick. Probably going to reward the player that does know how to rein it in once you put a little upgrades on it. That being said, I did run all of these cars with 70% traction control engaged, so you will maybe get different results depending on how you run your traction control. And I also had ABS at 100. We move over to the Audi, or not, excuse me, the Audi, the 370Z. I'd say this is the middle ground between the other two cars. It's a little bit better in the corners than the Mustang, but maybe not quite as good as the Alpine. It's not quite as strong as the Mustang in the acceleration, but it still has longer gears, so you're not shifting as often. So it kind of resembles the Mustang with the way it handles on the highway, and the Alpine's a little bit more snappy feeling out of the corners because the gears are a little tighter. Overall, they are very balanced though. There's no one car here that just shines. And so going forward, if you are playing the game for the first time and you're in the early levels and somebody wants to race you in their car, go do that. Like, the matches and the instant challenges in the daily drivers between these three cars is super omega matched up, and I think that these are the best challenges that people are going to get. All of that being said, the Audi, it does take the cake, and I want to drop some knowledge on you like this. Upgrades are expensive. You go buy brakes and all the engine pieces and everything, you are in overall for at least 150 grand, a lot closer to 250 if you really do get all the pieces and you buy like just every single part all the way through. So if that's the case, instead of buying one of the starter cars and maybe tuning it up, I would recommend buying the starter car that you get for free, driving it stock because they're all the same. Get enough money, buy the Audi, and then upgrade the Audi. Leave the other cars alone because it is that much better. You're going to have a better time. It really does perform quite well in the wet, and it really is treating me well as a great car. So that's my recommendation, guys. Obviously, everybody's different. Roll credits right here. Basically, I'm going to start playing all the clips of the cars finishing so you can see their times on screen. I am super thankful to all of you for being a part of this and just watching the videos. Like and subscribe if you learned something here. I know that there's no big reveal, like there's one that's better than all of them, but hopefully this is a showcase of what the daily drivers look like. And the shining star, diamond in the rough, is the Audi, but between the three, get whatever you like. It's gonna be fun. You guys have a great rest of your day. Please like the video. Please click the button. It puts it in front of more. And if you haven't watched my beginner's guide to TDU, I've got everything you should know, and that video will be linked right here. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.